It's not often that we see a real housewife dealing with a storyline that cuts this deep. Bronwyn Newport, one of the most intriguing faces on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, is going through something that so many people can relate to: a complete role reversal between parent and child. But what happens when the strong, opinionated woman you've seen throwing shade and holding diamonds suddenly finds herself caring for the two people who once cared for her? This is the side of Bronwyn that few have seen, and it's more emotional, raw, and revealing than any of her showdowns with Lisa Barlow or Meredith Marks. Before we dive into this complicated family dynamic, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment if you've ever been in a similar situation, and subscribe, because what's coming next will completely shift the way you see Bronwyn Newport. After a string of heartbreaking events and health scares, Bronwyn's life took a turn she never could have predicted. Her father, who had been battling Alzheimer's, passed away in June 2025. It wasn't just the loss of a parent. It was the end of a long, exhausting chapter where she balanced filming, family, and caretaking. But while her father's passing brought one kind of grief, her relationship with her mother, Muzzy, became an entirely different kind of emotional challenge. When you're a daughter who's used to standing strong, taking care of everyone, and maintaining a public image, suddenly sharing a home with your mother, who's never been afraid to speak her mind, can feel like stepping into a pressure cooker. And for Bronwyn, that's exactly what it became. Muzzy, known among fans for her bluntness and no-nonsense attitude, has become a fascinating presence on the show. Viewers have already seen glimpses of her unfiltered way of talking to Bronwyn. Some call it honesty, others call it harsh love. But behind every sharp exchange between mother and daughter, there's a deeper layer of love, history, and unresolved emotion. On November 4th, during her appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Bronwyn opened up about what's really been happening behind the scenes. When Andy Cohen asked about her mom and whether she'd seen the show, Bronwyn's reaction said it all. "Against my better judgment, she is watching," she admitted with a mix of humor and anxiety. And that one sentence told fans everything. Even as a grown woman, even as a reality TV star, Bronwyn still craves her mother's approval. That first time Muzzy appeared on the show, something unexpected happened. The next day, she came to Bronwyn and asked, "Is this how I speak to you? Is it harsh?" It was a rare moment of self-reflection, a mother realizing how her words might land when the world is watching. For Bronwyn, it was a revelation. She said they had an amazing conversation after that, one that peeled back the layers of their complex bond. But living under the same roof has forced more of those conversations, and not all of them have been easy. Whether it's discussing her father's illness or her relationship with her husband, Todd Bradley, Muzzy doesn't hold back. After one particularly emotional talk, Bronwyn confessed she was kind of like, "I didn't think you should do that." That pause, that hesitation, said everything about how deep Muzzy's influence still runs in her life. And yet, despite all the friction, the love between them is undeniable. Bronwyn calls her mom tough to get acceptance from, but she never questions that love. "She's my mom," Bronwyn said, "and I do want her acceptance." For viewers, it's a moment that hits home, because no matter how old we get, we never stop wanting our parents to say, "I'm proud of you." And in Bronwyn's case, that desire seems to fuel every emotional exchange, every effort to bridge the generational divide. But here's where the story takes an even deeper turn. While most people saw Bronwyn smiling through RHOSLC events, posting glamorous photos, and standing tall during confrontations with Lisa Barlow, what they didn't see was the quiet chaos happening behind the scenes. She wasn't just filming reality TV. She was living in a real-life storm of grief, caregiving, and emotional exhaustion. Her dad's Alzheimer's wasn't a storyline. It was her daily reality. Her mother's brain tumor diagnosis wasn't drama. It was dread. Yet Bronwyn still showed up, to every event, every trip, every scene, even when the cameras went off and her world was falling apart. And it's this contrast that makes her journey so compelling. On screen, she's the confident, fashion-forward woman unafraid to speak her truth. Off-screen, she's a daughter struggling to keep her family together while navigating loss and love in the same breath. The truth is, the more Muzzy appears on the show, the more audiences realize how much of Bronwyn's strength and pain comes from her. Muzzy isn't just a supporting character in Bronwyn's story. She's the mirror Bronwyn can't escape. Every time her mother speaks, it's like hearing the unfiltered version of the thoughts Bronwyn tries to keep hidden. But Muzzy's presence isn't just emotional, it's symbolic. She represents a generation of mothers who didn't apologize, who believed love could be shown through criticism, who thought toughness was protection. And Bronwyn, standing between that old-school mentality and the modern world of vulnerability and emotional openness, becomes the bridge between two eras. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's also incredibly real. In a franchise often filled with superficial conflict, this is the kind of story that cuts through the noise, the battle not between housewives, but between generations. As Bronwyn continues to open her home and her heart, fans are starting to see another side of her. One that's softer, more reflective, and deeply human. The tension between her and Muzzy isn't just mother-daughter drama. It's a reflection of what happens when roles reverse, when the child becomes the caretaker, when the daughter becomes the one making the decisions, while still carrying the emotional scars of wanting to be understood. It's not glamorous, it's not pretty, but it's real life, and that's why viewers can't look away. Bronwyn's story is a reminder that even amid the chaos of reality television, the most powerful moments often come from vulnerability. Watching her juggle her mother's health, her father's memory, her marriage, and her friendships on RHOSLC is a lesson in resilience. She's showing us that strength isn't about never breaking down, it's about showing up, even when everything inside you feels broken. And as the new season unfolds, one question hangs in the air. Can Bronwyn finally find peace between being the woman the world expects her to be and the daughter her mother raised her to be? Because somewhere between Muzzy's sharp words and Bronwyn's quiet strength lies the truth about love. Imperfect, complicated, and unbreakable. As the cameras roll into a new chapter of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Bronwyn Newport isn't just showing us her fashion or her wit, she's showing us her heart. But with every emotional breakthrough comes another layer of pressure, because while she's healing her relationship with her mother, the chaos of the housewives' world never stops spinning. Lisa Barlow's sharp comments, subtle shade, and pointed questions have created the kind of tension that reality television thrives on. But this time, it's different. It's not about luxury, parties, or loyalty drama. It's about Bronwyn trying to stay grounded while her entire life is shifting beneath her feet. Behind every argument, behind every confessional, there's a woman trying to process grief, responsibility, and the constant judgment that comes from living life under a microscope. Fans might remember the heated moments where Lisa pushed Bronwyn too far, the subtle digs about her emotional energy, or the suggestion that she was playing the victim. But when you look closer, you can see that Bronwyn wasn't reacting from ego. She was reacting from exhaustion. While Lisa was focusing on social dynamics, Bronwyn was holding her mother's hand in doctors' offices, managing medication schedules, and trying to hold back tears while the cameras caught every move. That's what makes her story so human. When she walked into those events, hair done, makeup flawless, smile perfectly rehearsed, she wasn't just showing up for TV. She was showing up for herself, for her family, and for everyone who's ever tried to hold it together when life felt impossible. Every scene became a balancing act between reality star and caretaker, between grief and grace, between the woman the public sees and the one who's silently falling apart inside. And in those moments, you could see it. The quiet strength that defines Bronwyn Newport. Not the kind of strength that shouts, but the kind that endures. The kind that smiles through the pain, listens even when it hurts, and forgives when it would be easier to walk away. Her relationship with Muzzy is the perfect reflection of that balance. One minute, they're clashing, Muzzy's blunt honesty slicing through Bronwyn's carefully held composure. The next minute, they're laughing together, bonded by memories, forgiveness, and love that runs deeper than any argument ever could. But what viewers might not realize is that every one of those moments, every scene with Muzzy, every eye roll, every sigh, is part of Bronwyn's healing. Because caring for a parent who once cared for you changes everything. It redefines your identity. You start to see your mother not just as the authority she once was, but as a woman, flawed, scared, proud, and vulnerable. Bronwyn's journey with Muzzy isn't just about caretaking. It's about rediscovering who they are to each other, now that time has rewritten their roles. In one of the most touching behind-the-scenes moments she's ever shared, Bronwyn spoke about that shift. "It's a process," she said softly. "You think you're ready to take care of your parents, but you don't realize how much it brings up. All the things you never said, all the things you still wish you could hear." That sentence, raw and honest, captures what makes her so relatable. Beneath the glam, the designer clothes, and the cameras, she's just a daughter trying to find peace with the woman who raised her. And yet, even while she's doing all of that emotional work, Bronwyn hasn't let it dim her presence on RSLC. If anything, it's made her stronger. You can see it in the way she holds herself in those group scenes, calm but unshakable. When Lisa Barlow pushes her, Bronwyn doesn't crumble. She redirects. When the tension rises, she pauses instead of exploding. It's a new kind of strength, born not from control, but from clarity. Because once you've faced Alzheimer's, loss, and the fear of losing another parent, reality TV drama just doesn't hit the same way anymore.